Good morning, Reelers, and welcome to the WCPS News Network. My name is CJ Clark.
And my name is Ashley Klatt. Today is Friday, May 6th, and it is day 4. Today's broadcast is being brought to you by our good friends at the Dreamland Theater. The Nantucket Dreamland is a nonprofit organization dedicated to enriching the cultural and intellectual life of Nantucket by providing year-round films, educational programs, and a venue for community activities.
Let's start with some birthday shoutouts to Harbor Librecht and Chelsea Ann Welch. Have a great day, girls. Today's lunch will be a classic cheese pizza and for weather, we can expect another cloudy day with a high temperature around 57 degrees. There will be no Julie Club today, but Games Club will meet after school in Mr. Millen's room.
Now it's time for another installment of our Friday special guest. Ladies and gentlemen, we are so lucky to have this incredibly hard-working lady with us today. She is responsible for all of the town of Nantucket departments, except for the school, airport, and water departments. Needless to say, she has a lot on her shoulders. Let's please give a warm CPS welcome to our town manager, Mrs. Libby Gibson.
Hello, everybody. Thank you guys for having me.
Hi, Mrs. Gibson. Thank you so much for joining us today.
I really appreciate you inviting me. Thank you so much.
First,
Sorry about that.
first, let's start out by telling us a little bit about yourself. Where did you grow up and go to school?
I went to Nantucket High School. I grew up here on Nantucket. And yeah.
So what does a day in the life of our town manager look like? What are your most important responsibilities?
Well, my duties are outlined in what we call the town charter. It is a document that lays out how the government of the town of Nantucket functions. I oversee about 15 town departments. I prepare the town meeting warrant. We just had town meeting, as you know. I prepare the budgets and a lot of other things that go before the voters. And as I mentioned, I oversee the town departments. I prepare documents for the select board, attend all of the select board meetings, prepare their agendas, provide them with recommendations, oversee a variety of projects. And a day in the life looks something like, I will go by today, for example. On Thursday mornings, I often do a quick radio show to recap the select board meeting from the night before, which we didn't have this week, but normally that's what I would do. We had a select board meeting early this morning, what we call an executive session, which is not a public meeting. We talk about lawsuits and things like that. Later, I had a meeting with the fire chief. So I have a lot of meetings with department heads, a lot of meetings related to various projects. For example, we have a project coming up, which is to slightly widen the corner at Washington Street and Francis Street. So if you're heading out of town, you guys are probably familiar. And that is hopefully starting next week. We had a little bit of discussion about that today. Any number of issues and projects. I had a call from a citizen with a question about a follow-up from this town meeting. Surprise, it had to do with topless beaches. Hope that's not inappropriate to say here. And let's see, what else? A lot of email, a ton of email. I get, I'm not kidding you, well over 100 emails a day.
Yeesh.
Can you tell us how you first became interested in working for the town? What was your first position and how did you work your way up the ladder to town manager?
Sure. So after college, I wasn't quite sure what I wanted to do with my life. So I thought, well, why don't I see if there's a job in the town and maybe that's something I could do for a little while and do something else after that. But I found that I really liked it. I liked being involved. I liked helping people. I liked organizing things and making things happen. So I stayed and I worked my way up. I started as what is called a senior clerk in the select board's office. At that time, it was called Board of Selectmen. And after a couple of years, I became what was then called the assistant executive secretary. The town manager at that time was called executive secretary. It then changed to town administrator, and then it changed to town manager around 2007. So I did work my way up, and along the way, I obtained a master's degree in public administration. I was appointed the town manager in 1995. I started working for the town right out of college in 1988, and I've been with the town ever since.
Well, we just finished our annual town meeting last Monday night. How do you think that went, and were you pleased with the way the members of the community handled themselves?
Well, um, how do I think it went? First of all, I think it went very well. We are blessed to have an amazing moderator. She runs the town meeting, and it's very efficient and it's very respectful. And I think everybody gets to have their say or ask their questions. So from that point of view, I think it went pretty well. It went pretty well for the town. We were seeking funding for a number of different initiatives, and we received just about all of it. Not quite all of it, but a good amount of it, and we're very appreciative to the voters. We have an election coming up next week. Some of the votes taken at town meeting are contingent upon ballot votes, so those have to be voted 2 times. How did community members handle themselves? Well, we tried to do a little outreach about this prior to town meeting. I do a monthly town manager e-newsletter, and if you go to the town website, nantucket-ma.gov, you can go to the town administration page, and you'll find, and if you're not subscribed already, please subscribe to the town manager e-news. And anyway, I did a little pre-town meeting edition, and we really asked people to be civil and respectful, and if you disagree, you can disagree without being disagreeable. That is something that I like to say, that I have heard other people say. So how do people handle themselves? I think fairly well. There was a lot of clapping. We sort of had asked people not to clap, and there was a bit of an incident during one of the articles, but that evidently got resolved, and so I guess generally it was okay.
You have obviously witnessed many major changes here on the island over the years. What are some of your biggest concerns for our town right now?
Housing is obviously a huge concern. Housing, not only, people in the community, but and workers and people who run the town and provide services for the community. That's a huge issue. Supply chain right now is a pretty big issue. With COVID, there's still things backed up, as well as other worldwide things that are going on. Recruiting employees, largely because of the housing issue, is becoming very, very difficult. We put out a little video last week that is called The State of the Town, and we tried to let people know what our message is sort of for the upcoming few months. Summer's going to be really tough. A lot of employers are not going to have enough people, so we're concerned about those things.
Here at CPS, our courses of study require all 8th grade students to take U.S. government and civic life as social studies class. Why do you think this is important for 8th graders?
I think it's very, very important. You all are the future and generation to run the country and world, and you need to know what's going on, and you need to get involved.
Thank you. What advice would you give any of our students who may someday want to become involved in public service as a career?
I would say ask questions. Don't, if you're not sure of the answer, or you're not sure you believe the answer, get the facts. And I do mean facts. I don't mean people's narratives or whatever they're saying on social media. Find out what the backup is for statements that are made. And again, just get involved and educate yourself.
Well, we are almost out of time, but before you go, we have a question that we ask all of our guests. Where's your favorite place to go for ice cream on the island? What is your favorite flavor?
Okay, I'm going to have to say I have 2 favorite places to go. The Juice Bar and Island Kitchen.
Yes.
And they both have fabulous ice cream, and I have a family member who works at the Juice Bar, so I cannot not include that. And they're both really great places. And my favorite ice cream, well, I have so many, but I would say currently, and my favorite flavor changes a bit, I would say mocha chip with hot fudge sauce and malt powder and whipped cream.
Wow. Well,
Oh,
Mrs. Gibson, we can't thank you enough for stopping by this morning, and we hope you'll come back again someday.
I hope so too. Thank you guys so much for having me.
Thank
Really
you.
appreciate it.
That's all the news for today, folks. Everyone have a great weekend. Please take care of yourselves and each other, and most importantly,
Be
kind to one another.